I'm here. Hi, Sherry. I needed to turn off the other live. Boy, what a life we lead. Okay. Yep. Whew. Got my earphone in. I don't. Nope. 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 Okay. Now I've got my earphone out, my phone down. I don't want to talk to Siri. Put this right over here. You know, you try to get ready and there's just no way. No way, Jose. So I'm going to have a big old drink of water. So what you been doing, Miss Sherry? Let's see how much of a lag is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. Helps if you hit the go button. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good grief. Wow, that's a 10-second lag or more? Good grief, YouTube. You're going to have to do better than that. Okay. Hi, Katrina. I can't do anything about YouTube, so let me know if we buffer or I've not had a focus problem before. I swear YouTube's playing like Facebook on us. They're playing games, I think. We'll wait a few more minutes and see who comes in. I couldn't decide what to do today because everything I have to do is requires full attention. So I thought, I'll just print. We'll just see what comes out of that. Because that way I get to play along with you. Are y'all able to work on art while you listen to a stream? I always thought I was a multitasker, but I guess I'm not. I'll get so involved in what I'm doing that I forget to pay attention to the live, and then you might as well not even be in it. I'm getting a flicker on my laptop screen. I'm really disturbed about that delay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 30. Well, it's got a huge lag today. I'm looking at my iPhone. There we go. So that's about a 40 or 50 count delay. So, hi, Crafty Kitty and Gail. Hi, Gail. Anybody that's new, be sure and let us know so we can take you through the initiation. Anybody here want to be a moderator? I'd be more than happy to add you as one, because not every moderator I have shows up for every stream. So quiet when you do this by yourself. We'll wait a few more minutes because I know Kathy was trying to finish. Okay, cool, Gail. Once a moderator, always a moderator. Okay, now are we friends on YouTube? Let me give you my address. If I'm not paying attention, you can tweet me and I'll get an announcement on my phone that I'm watching, okay? Anybody else that wants to join on Twitter, you're more than welcome. I have my YouTube, I have my artist friends in a YouTube group, and it's a private one just for me. But I can go there and see all of those in one spot rather than having all my East Coast reading and, shall we say, current events. That's a nice way to say that. Hey, Galena. Well, I'm on Instagram too. I just don't check it as often. Facebook, I get notifications on there too. I use Facebook for my private groups for like art classes and stuff like that. But as far as being in, good Crafty Kitty. That way I'll have some show up. Maybe. Cool. Hey, oh, Katrina, you're new. Wow, we got a newbie here. Now what are we going to do to her? 40 laps with a wet paintbrush. I don't guess you can have too many. Thank you, Galena. I always hated to ask because I was afraid nobody would take me up on it. I'll tell you, I am a sensitive soul. I got out a real water bucket yesterday instead of my little wee cups. It's one that collapses, but I can't get it to stay up. So I'm just wondering, see how crooked it is? No, you can't see, and I'll pour out water if I go much further. Anyway, it's collapsed on one side down about a half inch to an inch below the other side. I just wonder what happens if it collapses all the way. Do you get water everywhere? Water everywhere. Who am I on Facebook? Vicki Louise Neil Ross. Just about the Vicki 92 will find me anywhere you go. I've had that name since 010, 09, so that people who knew me back when we were growing up would know how to find me. So, you know, when you do these names and stuff 10 years ago, you're kind of stuck with them unless you want to start over. So, I'm going to tell you what I was doing during Kathy's. And I get so involved that I don't pay attention to what she's doing. Anyway, I started on a sample watercolor of a commission that I have. And I'll put this off as long as I possibly can, just because that's what you do, or that's what I do. But while I'm putting it off, I get these little glimmers of, wonder what would happen if, or if I use that, maybe that would work, because Lord knows I've got the supplies. So I'll show you this will be the size of it, 16 by 20. And this girl is a good friend of ours, and she's also our dentist. She used to live across the street. This was an old photograph, and it was almost in sepia, and there was a rim light, like a camera thing, over here around her dad. And I haven't been able to ask whether he's passed or not. So, but she liked that. It almost gave him a ghost-like appearance. So that's what I'm trying. And I'm using, y'all are going to hate me, green leaf and blueberry handmade paints. And these are very dear, and I don't want to use them because I don't want to run out. How's that? And I do want to do some further research and make sure that they're suitable for a commission artwork. I think they probably are, because the owners know what they're doing. Not everybody can take powdered pigment and mix some stuff and make a good paint from it. So these are as natural as they can get them. And they are from kind of like Daniel Smith. They're into natural rocks and natural pigments. But they're interesting colors. There's a lot of granulation. You can see it here in these blue jeans. So that's the way it dried. And I'm doing this on Arches paper, which will be the same paper I painted on. And of course, like every other person in the world, I forgot to leave my white space. I just did a rough pencil sketch because I didn't want to mess with it, you know. But once I do this, I will be more familiar with what I'm going to try to do. And we'll go from there. I also try to remember to keep a color swatch of what I'm doing and what I'm doing it with, so that I'll have a prayer's chance in hell of redoing it. I guess that this is a little swatch book that I started when I was real bored one day. If you get bored, just start doing something. Just get your brushes wet. But here I had this neat idea that I was going to mix the same yellow. What was I doing? The same yellow and pink, but I was going to do this page on different papers. And Fabriana Artistico, so I used some good paper. This is Strathmore's and Canson. But I thought it'd be cool to see how, say, Cad Lemon. I was going to use Winsor Newton Cad Lemon. That was going to be constant. And then I was going to put other colors with it to see what they did, because different pigments mixed together will do different things to each other. Like this Cobalt Violet by Daniel Smith kind of tended to push the yellow out of the way. And anyway, to me, that's fun. I know I'm weird. But here we go into the cad lemon with a few blues. I didn't mix everything I had. I don't know what that one is. Cobalt, turquoise, core. That's that one. And we've got a nice granulation there with the cobalt turquoise from Daniel Smith. And there's a moon glow. Look at that beautiful color. Mixed with the cad lemon. I am in love with these Daniel Smith colors that have been engineered to use several different pigments. And the engineering process is knowing the drop rate of the ground pigment that's in it, so that the ultramarine blue may have a granulation that goes into the weave of the paper quicker than the phthalo blue or the, what's the other one? Alizarin? I can't remember the third color. But they drop into the paper at different rates. So you get different colors when they mix at different places. That's all I know about the chemistry on that one. And here we have the Canson. This is a cellulose paper. So see the difference here, the same paints, you know, in a controlled environment as close as you can get it. This doesn't move nearly like this does. And this piece happens to be on Strathmore, which is another cellulose. So know your paper and test it. We've got Windsor Cad Lemon with Cheap Joe's on Canson, and then on Strathmore. Strathmore moves a lot prettier. Daniel Smith Jadeite. Love the granulation in there. And this is Undersea Daniel Smith. See the difference in the Canson? There's just not as much intrigue with them. So for that reason, if I'm going to buy a play paper or something just to fool around with, I'll go ahead and get the Strathmore because it's not that much more expensive than this. This just doesn't move at all. And Slate, that's one of the Moonglow colors. I mean, green leaf and blueberry colors. Here's one of their colors called Magnetite. It's actually has granules of magnets in it. So when the paint is wet, you can put a little magnet under there and you can move the paint where you want it to go. So that's, you know, again, that's fun. And this is a Mayan blue, and that's green leaf blueberry. Violet hematite is really pretty, and that's a green leaf. I don't know if you can see that or not. And of course, if you start something like this, every color that you have on your palette will mix differently with these colors. So you're never going to get there, you know, where you know exactly what everything's going to do every minute, but you can get close. Here is what I was looking for. This is the green leaf page. There are two whites. One of them is an eggshell. The other one's barite. I don't know why we have two, but, you know, there you have it. Mayan yellow is what I used here. It's very, very soft and subdued, but it's not, because it's not in your face. Hey, Judy, Christy. Anybody that's new, let us know so we can run you through initiation. You have to run through the yard with a wet paintbrush in the freezing cold. So this was my first set. And if y'all know me, you know I couldn't rest until I had them all. I still need about 7. That's well, why am I've got Daniel Smith mixed in here. Here's a Daniel Smith sodalite. You see the burnt sodalite, excuse me. The natural pigments have natural mica. See that? So that's not something that's been added. This is a beautiful one by Daniel Smith, hematite, sodalite, diapsolite. I obviously didn't write the whole name down. Here's Daniel Smith Mayan blue, Amazonite. This one's pretty, bronzite. Shadow Violet is another one of those 2 or 3 pigment combinations from Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith, few new ones that I've gotten. This Kyanite has another natural mica in it. And then we go into Cheap Joe's. Cheap Joe's, it is rumored, they deny it, but it's rumored that they use the same manufacturing that Da Vinci manufactures their colors. The Cheap Joe's American Journey. They both behave similarly in quality. So I think they're making it for them. Somebody's got to make them for them. Like I said the other day, all these catalog companies, they don't have their own manufacturing facilities, except maybe a Blick and a Jerry's. They do. But occasionally you'll see, and this is an artist I know. I had a workshop with her husband. He's an artist too. And this is her favorite admixture. So Cheap Joe's has it in a tube. And let's see. Okay, here's some more of the greenleaf blueberry. Malachite. Some of these just don't suspend well in water at all to get a dark color. Azurite's another one that's kind of expensive. Let's see what else. I was playing with brushes and playing with Steve at the Mind of Watercolor. These are his favorite. This is his favorite triad. So I tried it and I really don't like it for me. So just remember that everybody's red, yellow, and blue are not going to be the same. Good, Katrina. You told me that earlier, and now you're already a moderator. But there are some mixes in here. This one's pretty. I like the pink. I don't know. But that's a personal preference. So you need to be aware of that. And as you work in your watercolor, find your own. You can use something like this until you find your own, and you'll decide that you like it or not. This is one of the handmade paints a couple of years ago called Earth Minerals. And a friend of mine bought it. It's a beautiful color, but the binder was off because we could get color off in our fingers. So be careful with handmade watercolors. I think that's all I've got in there. So that book can go back where it lives. Maybe, baby. So that's that. And I showed you the picture of where it's going and the paints I'm going to use. These aren't any more expensive than the high-end Daniel Smith, Winsor Newton, M. Graham. But I do want them all because they're unique. Put that away. And put this away. Okay. What else was I going to show you? Those of you who've kind of seen me work on these, I'm considering them finished. Except maybe there's a mark right there I don't particularly like. But there's one of them. And I had to do the last 3 or 4 hours on each one of these by myself. The water drop things I like from a distance. I'm not crazy about them up close. But, you know, you're not always going to love everything you do. And then somebody else sees it and goes, oh, I love it. I love it. Do y'all remember when I did the red underneath as an underpainting and then leave it showing? It just adds interest. You know, from across the room, this will all read as solid color, but when you get up close to it, there's stuff in there to keep your interest. Like having Maura's name on this one. You won't see that from across the room. And most people won't see it up close either. But it's there, and I know it's there. This one had a purple underpainting. And little spots of it just show through here and there. Let me put these in a safe spot. I've got to decide if I'm going to spend the money to enter these in a show that's coming up. Deadline's tomorrow. Randy asked me last night, what do you want to get out of it and what's your goal? I'm only 3 points away from getting Master Circle in the Pastel Society. And you know, to work that hard for so many years and then just give up on it. But I gave up because it's so expensive. I mean, $45 for 2 entries isn't bad. But if you get in, and I've had 3 of my paintings in the show, you have to frame them and ship them, and they have to be in a special shipping container so that the glass and everything doesn't get broken. So that's where your expense is. A couple of years ago, I shipped 2 nice size paintings. I think that was in 2015. And it cost over $500 to mail them, and the boxes were like $200. So big bucks. Okay, enough of that. What are we going to do? Y'all may be sick of jelly printing, but it's my go-to thing. I did these the other day. Warsaw. I know I'm not saying that right. What you do is put down a little bit, put down some acrylic paint, and then immediately put down some blots of India ink. And if you do it at timing right, you get where the ink interacts with the wet acrylic, and it just makes a different kind of texture. But I use these in my journal, so it's nice to have those around. Okay, I need to check chat, make sure y'all are behaving yourselves. Gail, we were talking about Facebook. My Facebook page is Vicki Ross Art on Facebook. I didn't do much either on Twitter. I got my account in 2008 or 9 and didn't do too much with it because I was scared of it. I didn't want the boogers to get me. And when I got in there and realized that I could control who posts on my timeline, I like it a lot better. Okay, Gail, I'll get it after a while. Thank you, Crafty Kitty, for putting the link. Hey, Mario. I don't believe I recognize your name. No, animated characters are something that I've played with, but it didn't grab my attention enough to focus on. There is a guy that I followed. I can't even remember his name, but you can find a lot of good ones. There's a whole lot on YouTube. Thanks, Mario. River City, hello. Beth, if I didn't say hi, well then hi. Okay, Judy. I'm just catching up here. Thanks, Judy. Good. Okay, I'm gonna get my stuff out. Kathy Berg was just playing with her big jelly plate, but they're so awkward because they take up so much room on your desk. I made some handmade stencils, and the reason is that's pastel paper. I don't know what that's doing mixed in with my stuff, my jelly printing stuff. Let me move all these. I don't know if y'all saw last week, I did No Boundaries watercolor. And it's so much fun to do when you've got a bunch of white spaces like cellophane or a plastic bag, and you just paint from shape to shape and try to end up sort of where you started. But anyway, it's fun because it distorts stuff. Okay, another one. Oh, here's the original. And I don't draw it on purpose because I like it that way. Okay, another stencil. I try to use stencils that are, they can kind of be generic in look. And I have so many because I'm in the Stencil Girl Club. And I love the stencils, but I'm not. Mary Beth Shaw can use them, and she can use 5 on the same page, and it just looks organic, like they're all supposed to be there. And I use it, and it looks like, oh, she used a stencil. So I picked out a few of those that I like. Here's another handmade one. I didn't finish the, I can go ahead and cut down. But it's kind of nice when it's yours. That's why we're making paper too, by the way. Or printing paper. We're not making the paper. Okay, stencils out of the way. See, when I'm not working on jelly printing, I just stack everything here. Did y'all see my last pages on here? I don't think I did them. Oh, you didn't see this one, I know. This has been kicking around my studio for at least 2 years. I'll find it on the floor, I'll pick it up and find it with some papers. So I thought, what better way to use it than to put it in a journal. This was when I was experimenting with the Russian Sauce, S-A-U-C-E, and it is a clay charcoal that can only be found in Russia. This is student quality because we can't get any better quality. They may not be making any better quality either. But the advantage to it is that once you get it wet, it's permanent. And or you can work with it dry like regular charcoal, and you get blacker blacks than you do. So now I've got to come up with a face for over here. So this is where some of my pretty papers go. I made some silver, like washi tape, and I used the little thin 2-sided tape with the paper backing and laid it down on gold and silver leaf. And I've got a gold in here somewhere. Nope, the trash. You want the trash from my session? Anyway, that's just kind of fun. I like these. And this is my wish book. If somebody says, what kind of art do you do? I could show them this. And, you know, they're maybe not all my colors, but it might be for somebody else. They might see something they want enlarged for a commission. So that's how I justify spending so much time in this journal. Beyond practicing. Oh, that one's nice. I like that one. And I used my Diane Reevely. I get those two girls mixed up. The border ruler that she's got. I had one forever, and somebody showed theirs the other day, and I thought, I've got one. Mine's different. And it is, because mine doesn't have holes in it. That one's nice. So I just have a few more pages. So there's that. Okay. I use this sometimes. This was in a pack with papers this size, different colors from Hobby Lobby. And I use that on this journal. I think it's oriental looking. And I've been keeping my scraps. You know, like this, because you never know when you might just need a piece. I'm getting there, and this is from my 3x4, 3x5 jelly plate, picking up some crunchy bits. Here's some mark making. Just messing around, you know, making marks with that India ink that's called something gold. Anyway, the black ink is mixed with gold mica, and you can see black and gold in there. Got it online. Of course, it's by Yasatomo. Some more mark making stuff. Even stuff like this can make a real good image in a collage. So don't throw your trash away. Oops, in the floor. Getting down to the plate. This is one I did a couple of weeks ago on stream. My camera seems to have moved. Here's that stencil that I was talking about. It's really a neat stencil. I think this kind of journaling too gets you out of the habit of loving favorite colors, because if you're just playing, you can use any color you've got in your batch. Okay. This is an inkjet print of a photograph I took. I don't know what I'll do with it, but it'll end up somewhere. I see the plate. Like I need to make more papers. What I need to do is get all the ones I made from my very first jelly plating, and I need to put them in a book or do something else with them. Now's my paper. So move the stencils. Okay, I'm all neat and ready. Stencils just insist on sticking together. Now, I'll show you some paper that I got that's special. You might want to be on the lookout for it. This is old letterhead. And the only way you know it's letterhead is black lines. And this little teeny attorney's firm. I got a whole ream of this for like $14 on Etsy. And because it's in the 70s or 60s or, you know, quite a few years old, it has cotton in it, which makes it a very premium, a nice premium paper for jelly printing and for collage. Yes, I am, Kathy. Your stream was great, by the way. Legal pleading paper. What does pleading mean, Judy? Hey, Vaughn. Where do I keep all my scraps? Right beside me on top of a rolling cart. Older ones that I've made and I'm not that crazy about are in shelves on another rolling cart. So that's what I need to go through and get rid of. Kathy, I kind of think about stopping it, but I don't want to hurt Mary Beth's feelings like she would care, you know? I love getting them, and I've got a 3-foot cord with them on there. They're all hanging, so at least I can find them. They're easy to put back up. Pleating paper. Yeah, Kathy got out her big plate, her 11 by 14, I think it is. Anyway, this makes beautiful prints. And then I got photo paper. That's no big deal. I just might as well go ahead and get some out. Onion skin, you cannot find. You can find it some on, just about knock my stand over with the computer on it. This is onion skin. It does have cotton. Most onion skin came with 25% cotton in it. And no real reason except that, you know, copy paper works fine. But if you're going to make a collage that you want to keep or hang or sell, you know, the quality of the paper that you use to start with becomes a little more important. I found that stuff on Etsy, I believe. And this is from a Goodwill haul a couple weeks ago, or a month ago. I lose all track of time. This book was published in 1940 something, I think. I've already put the book over on the other side of the room. But old books prior to 1970 also have cotton in them. So the paper is a whole lot more sturdy than books today. What else do I have? This is unusual. This is packing paper that comes in all of your art supplies. So I roll that up and save it. I have some that has a little wax on it. And this is Japanese rice paper. It's very inexpensive. So I thought we might use some of that. All right, check chat. Move that. Come on now. Did I tell? Were y'all in the chat the other day when I told you that my my stand here is made by Arkon, Arkon, and it has arms that can just be adjusted any which way for your camera. But they just added a third arm. I guess they realized that from here to here wasn't enough for the stand. So they've added a third arm, and they added a bracket to fit on the pole to hold the iPad. And anyway, they were going to update my unit. I've had it for about a year, and they were going to update it, send me that. So hopefully the camera things will be solved. Seems like everything you do, you've got to modify. Fixing dinner. Thanks, Judy. I did that, you know, when I was doing my chair painting after my big surgery recuperation, and did it with a picture I'd taken at Sam's of the pears and apples and stuff in the bins, cardboard bins. That's a good place to get a source photo. Did I see Dot? Hey, Dot, Dr. D, recovering from, I bet she's a good shade of purple and yellow by now. Gail, do I enjoy doing commissions? Yeah, because the money's good. No, because it's pressure, and I'm too old for pressure. You remember last year I did the wedding anniversary of the two guys celebrating their wedding, and I had that one on my book for about 8 months. I'm awful. But no, it's restrictive to me to paint for someone else, and you don't really know what they like or the style they like. And so far, every commission I've ever done has been somebody I know, so they know I'm wacky, and it shows in some of my work. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's about a 30 count lag. Okay, I got stencil. Got to pull my phone up close for court docs. My stuff. Evil airbags. Yeah, come on, give us some paper we can reuse. Yeah, and I had a tutor who was a well-known portrait artist, And he told me, he said, I've taught you all I know, now go do it. And I said, but I don't want to be a portrait artist. He said, damn it, girl. What's wrong with you? But, you know, that's not my cup of tea. I'm mercurial, you know. Rice paper being reviewed. Keep in mind that when you use Asian papers, let's say Eastern papers, because China and Japan both have them, they have their own watercolors too. So all of these Ganzai, Tombis, and all that stuff, they're manufactured differently to take advantage of the rice paper. And the rice paper soaks ink up faster. They paint on a lot of silk paper and all that stuff. So the binder that they traditionally put in Eastern paints is different than our binder, which is usually gum arabic. So keep that in mind and do a little research on it, and you'll understand. That's about all I know. Well, I know more than that, but you don't need to, I don't need to take time to tell you. But their binder are used to be from animal bones and stuff. So that's why I'm not that well versed on actually doing Eastern style art, but I do know that their materials are different. All right, quit talking and get back to work. And I save all these packaging things too for India ink and mixing paint. I know that Dee Dee uses coffee can lids, except I don't like black. I don't like clear either. I'd rather have white, but you can't get packaging in white. Maybe if I requested it. I did get another paint the other day. Remember the folk art color shift paints have been so fabulous. And I noticed that they just started a watercolor acrylic. Now, what that means, your guess is as good as mine. They only had about 7 or 8 colors at Hobby Lobby, so I got a couple. And they also have a glass paint that they've come out with in the last year. Probably just testing it. But man, they had a home run with the color shifts. In fact, I went back last week and bought a large one of the Black Flash, and I've got a large one of the aqua and the orange, just in case everybody quits carrying it. Maybe Deco Art will come out with some, since I'm a helping artist there. I've got so much paint in the house. Let's see what this says. Satin sheen, watercolor effects. Used on paper, wood, canvas, fabric for decorative purposes only on glass. Shake well. Thin it with water. And apply as desired. The addition of more water will make the color lighter and more transparent. Clean brushes and tools while wet. That's because it's an acrylic base. Now, if you think that I'm not reading at an adult level, I'm on about a first grade level, it's because my glasses have 3 different vision things. And the only one I can count on is about 6 inches from my face. Otherwise, I get double vision. Isn't that wonderful? More than you wanted to know. I don't know why I do know why. All of the colors they had on the shelf were real bright, and I'm more of a neutral person. So don't use the good brushes. They're over there. Here's an Escoda Versatile. I don't like them, so we're just going to use it right here. It's weird. It's kind of not going too well with the water. That's interesting. See the little clumpies? Kind of like it's curdled. And that would be the acrylic medium. Here, let's just get one of these book pages. So now the advantage of this would be that it would dry acrylic. It's like jelly sitting there in the straight out of the bottle. It's leaving tracks, which watercolor doesn't typically do. It's a little bit of a texture. See? If that is a feature of the paint, I don't know that. Interesting. Let's put a little white out. Just a little bit. And it seems to be jelly-like too. Not as bad as the sienna. And opaque, it looks like. So if that's the case, let's put some over here. I got a mix, which is one reason why I bought white and the burnt sienna. So some of you guys that love to play and experiment, that might be fun. And I can't do this without mentioning Robin, R-O-B-Y-N. Let me write it in. I try to mention her every time I get on. I found her on YouTube and really, really liked what she was doing. So, kept following her YouTube channels, and I noticed that there were fewer and fewer. And then she went on Patreon, and then forgot where I had my stuff stored. And then she started a subscription program, and I love it. Such a gorgeous, crunchy plate. When I first started jelly printing, man, I slathered the paint on. I'm going to let that dry. I should have done that already. It took forever for things to dry, so it was real inconvenient. I'm going to look at chat for a minute. Yes, it is, Don. Let me go back up and come down. Scrolling back up. Okay, there's Gail. Gail, I imagine they're using a synthetic now, but I don't know for sure. I bought some of that watercolor acrylic. Oh, okay. Yeah, they might have a purpose. Watercolor acrylic and acrylic gouache. I have some of the Holbein acrylic gouache, and it basically is just an acrylic. It's got a flat matte finish similar to a chalk paint, but they dry permanent. So your open time is not as good with acrylic gouache as it is with regular gouache. And regular gouache, you can always come back and lift it. You can come back and make it workable again. So I decided if I want to work with acrylic, I'm going to work with acrylic. And if I want to work with gouache, I want to work with gouache. So that was the decision that I made, and it's the hottest thing going right now, apparently, because every manufacturer's coming out with it. Oh, there's my little thing. See, it's clear and you lose it. I'm just going to show you my favorite chalky paint. This is the Paper Artsy Fresco paint. Got a wonderful chalky finish, and this particular line of color is done by Seth Apter. So I really like that for chalky finish, and that's about the advantage you're going to get with the acrylic wash. Okay? Oh, okay. Let me go back. Vaughn says squash is both transparent and opaque. Yes, it is. And again, if I want to use watercolor, I'm going to use watercolor. And if I want the opacity of gouache, I'm going to use gouache. That's my opinion. Yeah, they do have a weird texture. That's that jelly-like thing. Hey, Carmen. Michelle, hello. Yes, Kathy, that is correct. Let me see if I can put my hands on it real easy. See, I've got a custom keeper from Shannon Green. This was one of her experiments that kind of failed. It's resin, but I liked it so much. I said, pour some more resin over it. And the longer you hold it, the warmer it gets. And it opens really good. Cold, not so much. Let me pull this out. When I first seriously tried gouache, I compared the working, the way it worked and the way you could go back into a color and pull some of it back out to blend with the color you put on top, like I did with this pink. It felt more like oil to me. That's the way you work in oil, is you put two colors side by side and then blend them. So I liked it for that. And that's colored pencil. Colored pencil makes me crazy. There's a colored pencil. That's a fart. This is squash, and I dearly love the opacity, and I didn't have any trouble with it picking up. Although, when you are working with it and it's dry, you can go back in, but you have to train yourself not to be this kind of an artist where you just brush and brush and brush in one spot. You need to just come in with the color you want, put your brush down, and lift it up. And that way you won't liquefy the layer underneath. I don't like that one. Roses are my nemesis. Anyway, that pink one is my favorite. So there you go with that. Let me see what else I'm missing. That'll be dry here in a minute. Seems like we've sped up a little bit. Not as much lag. You like the rose? That's my favorite. Y'all are seeing it right now. Let's see. People that are starting watercolor, and I know how tempting it is to buy every color because you're coming from a craft world to an art world. Your best way to learn watercolor is to limit yourself to no more than 10 tubes of color. And those 10 tubes of color should be a split palette where you have a warm and a cool red. And by that I mean a red that tends toward purple And this is a red that tends toward orange. So this is my warm, this is my cool. And then you have a warm, this is a warm blue. It tends toward green. And this is a cool, that's warm too. That's in the purple, near purple. And this is near yellow, yellowy green on that end of the color wheel. I don't put greens in a palette when I'm learning. Don't use earth colors in a palette. So I have 2 reds, 2 yellows, 2 blues. The difference to me is that with acrylic, you're playing, you're moving fast. It may be in a journal or something like that, and you don't want to take the time to mix the acrylic paint. I've got a set of Deco Arts Media line, which is their artist line acrylic, and it comes in those same colors with the chemical names like Phthalo and alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue and all that. But if I'm doing something like this, I don't want to stop and mix paint over here. So it's a totally different mindset. With acrylic, I like having a gazillion colors of craft acrylic. Never thought I would ever say that. But when I'm painting and I want to mix color, and there are other reasons for having a limited palette. You pick your palette and you don't use every color that you've got. So the other reason for that is it teaches you how to mix color. Rather than reaching for, I want green, okay, I'm going to reach for this bottle or this tube. What you do is you look at the yellows and the blues you've got on your palette and mix it from there. That's part of the painting process, not the crafting process. So you don't need a bunch of watercolors. Preaching to the choir here, because I did it. Let's get a little bit of India ink. Okay. Put these telescope paints away. And I need this is just a little calligraphy brush. I love these things because they're made out of natural hair. When I first started watercoloring, I didn't know what they were for. This technique I've never been that good at, so I'm doing it again. Theory being, if you put a layer of acrylic on your plate and let it dry thoroughly, then you can come back, and it has to be a sheer coat. Those color shift paints are sheer. Then you come back, and this will be your second layer. So you'll see through the green layer of the color shift to the printing, or the my goddess painting, goddess lettering, I should say. That little brush is working really well. My plate is so dirty, there are a lot of spots on here that will come off and be on top of my writing. But this is just another way of getting some interesting collage papers of your own. And then you let this dry, and then anything that you do from here on will be behind the printing, just like a normal jelly print. Okay, now we're going to let that dry. You can dry it with a hair dryer on cool. You can dry it with a heat gun if you hold it way up high, which I always forget. So I'll show you these little things. I know I showed them to you the other day. These are individual stampers. And I picked up one that wasn't open. I got them on AliExpress, and they were like $3 or $4, so they weren't much. I thought, that'd be real handy for carrying stamps with you. And I keep a little mixed media bag over here packed. Oops, got the lid. When I go to Rosemary Morris's for play days. So instead of carrying all of your distress inks. Isn't that cool? I mean, for itty bitties. I have no idea how much ink is in this, but, and I didn't get a white, which I was kind of wanting, but you can't get everything for $4. I got a silver and a gold. Ooh. That's coming off great. I'm staying away from the ink. So I just saw a place where these might be kind of handy. And there's gold. Isn't it fun to play with somebody else's stuff? Come on. I don't have any fingernails either. I keep them filed down real close because if I don't, I'll shred them off. Oops. Woo. The little thing came out. I'm glad I saw that. If I dropped it in the floor here, it'd be gone forever. And I don't know what that little sleeve is. Welcome to China. I'll have to play with that and see. I lost it now. Drat. Flip to the sponge. Okay. Let's get a piece of paper. Let's use this one. I'm not going to take a very good, I just want to lightly see, I blurred some lines there. I just want to pick up some of the extra ink so we're not here all day. Can't believe I lost that in the floor. Dag nabbit. Okay. Put that up. I've got it on the sponge. I'm just going to look real briefly down here on the floor. I don't see it real briefly, so drat. Bet I could cut another one though. Okay, if I miss anything over here, are y'all bored to tears yet? It is complicated, Gail. And when I started, you know what? I've got that right down here. This was such a big help. This is the Michael Wilcox green and yellow don't make blue, or blue and yellow don't make green. It's a real heavy plastic, but it had markings on here to tell you what it was. Hey, Vaughn, my husband is half Japanese. His mother would have known. No, media, they do have a fluid in the media line, but they've got a regular acrylic too. You're right, Vaughn. Traditions. Look. I thought that it was in the media line, but it was their. It's not in the media line. Okay, never mind. You corrected me. Thank you very much. I get all this stuff confused. I'm old. You leaving us, Kathy? Bye. I know, Vaughn. I swear it up and down. You heard me do it just a few minutes ago. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Yes, Vaughn, I think the flowers, those pink flowers were. Y'all need to get, if you're curious, get on my mailing list. I try to do a blog every week, but it's been about a month since I have. And I'm I'm getting ready to do an email campaign for my school. And it's not for everybody, but it is for people who want to learn more about regular painting. But I teach all the things like form and shape and color and uh, values, another biggie. And then the class includes a kit. And the second half of the class, you get to experiment with watercolor, oil, encaustic, and soft pastel. Theory being that at the end of that time, you'll know which of those really intrigues you and you want to follow up on. But you get enough artist quality materials in that kit to last you for a while. You get everything you need, paper, brushes, and it's all artist quality. So there's my sales pitch for the day, and that's not the reason I'm on here, but there you have it. Let's use a little bit of Paper Artsy. I've had this for a while. And haven't used it, so. Scissors away. It took me about 15 years to figure out the things that I include in my class because no one had it all in one spot for me. And a lot of the teachers that I studied with could teach me technique, but they couldn't really teach me the whys of stuff. And without the whys, my little pea brain couldn't retain it. Let's see, let's use a stencil. And let's use some nice paper. Look at that. And I pulled up some of my relettering. That was not part of the plan, but hey, it works. Sure is pretty, though. We'll get some on this side. And I'm off camera because I can't get it there. I'm going to flip that over and see if I can capture any of that goodness. No. I didn't get any more. Let me pick up that roll of brown paper that fell off in the floor. I'll tell you, too, that my class is not like any others on the internet. It's not based on projects. It's based on almost like a semester class in college. There are projects, but now what do I want to do? Let's put there's that India ink in my bucket. Silver black and gold black. That's so hard. Yasutomo, I think it was under $10. This is De La Rowney from Walmart. And Robin likes it because being cheap, it's almost transparent. It's thin. And I need to get some of the white as well. Sometimes in jelly printing you want sheerness so that your layers can build. Jelly printing is not my first, I'm not an expert by any means. And this is the rice paper. So there will be a good chance that it will tear while that's doing its thing. I got some of the exam table paper. And I put it on a bungee cord. I've got a metal stand right next to me. I put a bungee cord on it and just hung it from the shelf that I keep for storage. It's in between a tissue paper and deli paper. The tissue paper that you get off the really nice napkins. You quit talking so much. I'm going with it because with this paper being terrible, not T-E-R-R-I-B-L-E, but T-E-A-R. So that's not a bad little print. Soft colors. And that pink is so pale, it's nice. These could be cut out and used as little accent pieces. If y'all need me, one of the mods, yell at me now. Paint on the big white wheel. Oh, that's a palette. It's the Michael Wilcox, what did I say? Blue and yellow don't make green. And it's a good teaching tool. Okay. I think I'm caught up. Sampler even. Okay, I was wondering what that word was. I thought maybe you were exotic. Okay. Now we're going to start getting cereal here because we want some pull-off stuff. I don't need watercolor pencils right here at my side. I have these little bins I got these at Target to hold my paints. I've got all my Goldens in one. That might be a good one to use. And my other one is a backup with paints I sometimes use. And for ones that are duplicates. And I keep those over here. It's hard to keep up with all this stuff. And this is on a packing tray like you get a computer in. It's rigid plastic. It's kind of like a silverware tray. That one doesn't really need to be there. I guess it's going to, though. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This is the frosted glass, the other folk art. Let's see. This is that watercolor again. I just don't want to throw it away. It is kind of greasy. That would be the acrylic. Hey, I didn't know India ink wasn't permanent. Or was that the one I just did it in? No? That's interesting. I thought India ink was permanent. Coming off of this plastic, though. Learn something new every day. If that's the case, then I'm going to spray it. This color is Quin Nickel Azo Gold. It's a color I never thought I would like, because I'm not a hot color person. I'm a cool color person. Goldens are expensive, but they last forever, especially when you just use dibs and drabs. I don't care if I get it everywhere. Let's pull another. Let's pull one on the exam table paper. I don't mind wrinkles because it makes stuff look old. I'm going to leave that on for a few more minutes. This won't pick up any of the crusty stuff. Ooh. And now, where this paper comes in handy is that when you put it down in a collage, it completely disappears. So you can see through the paint and everything, mainly because we've used transparent paints. But you'll be able to see through that. Deli paper, you can't always see through. It doesn't disappear. That's cool. We'll keep it. Build up here. I like Prussian blue. This is the Traditions. Take the little paint bottle boogers off. Somebody ought to figure out a way to use those and make beaded necklace out of them if you were into beading. Three drops. We're not going to run out of that anytime soon. I don't worry about some papers being archival and cotton and all that, because usually they're encased in acrylic. So I will give it that kind of snot appeal, you know, but, well, I only jelly print on cotton papers. Well, hooty hoo. Now look how pretty that is. Let me stand up. This is the brown packing paper that's waxed. You can see the wax in here. It's heavier than deli. let's put a little Titan Buff. Can't go wrong with Titan Buff. Four drops. I'll be dead before I use all that. Now, this paper has more substance to it, so we could get a little bit more of the pull off. It takes a while for the dry, crusty acrylic to come back to life, if you will. You know, after you've done 3 or 4 layers of paint, it might decide, okay, I'll wake up and come play. We'll see. Wow. Isn't that pretty? So why do I need to buy paper? I don't know. Da-da-da-da-da. Another South paint. I think this company has 4011 paint colors. Ooh, is that a yummy color or what? I'm going to use this Deco Art stencil with the Harlequin. See how quick your desk. Sorry for the noise. I know that's driving y'all crazy. I say this all the time, but I have new people all the time. That's a beautiful color. Monoprinting is not new. Collage is not new. Nothing that we do today is new. It all comes from Asia in the 3rd and 4th centuries. And we've just got modern. I'm going to use some of this. We've got modern supplies. Dry. This is another gorgeous color. Iridescent bronze. Mermaid. Hello, Seth After. Are we blocked? I mean, are we buffering? Maybe it'll come back. I've still got it over here on my computer. I'm just going to wait for a minute. How long has it been buffering? Buffering. 5:06. It's 5:30. It's been buffering a while. Not buffering, huh? I am. Well, hello. Mine needed to be turned on again. Everything's good again. All right. I wanted to use some of this book paper. The way that paper's sticking, I better get it off quick. Oh, yeah, it did. Usable. Put this back down. Oh, this is a pretty color. Moonlight. I'm in love with colored numbers, names as much as I am the paint that's in them. These are not my colors, which is a good reason to use them. Toffee, terracotta, mahogany, and midnight. Midnight is going to play a lot like Payne's Gray or Payne's Gray. I think it's time for some color shift. I can't believe I've used a whole bottle already. And I need to pull something off this little plate too. Let's use this again. Cute. Not much, but it's plenty. This is back on the unwaxed junk paper. One advantage to these rolls is that you can just leave it rolled up. Tear off what you need when you need it. My plate's getting crunchy. I mean, it's acting like some of those layers are getting. Getting some. This is Purple Flash. And what are we going to put with it? metallic. Come back over here to my goodie bucket. You know what? I'm going to put some Naphthol red. Just for giggles. It is bright. Ooh, this puts me in a person who paints in primaries mood. Not my favorite. This thin paper is really good for stencils that have little bitty holes. Got a good bit of it. I want to get some up here. So I'm going to get it on this. I don't know if I want to put anything else on there right now. This is the rice paper. That's interesting. I wonder what happened in the middle. I could have done with 2 drops. Still got some peeps with me. It's interesting. Not bad looking at all. Oh, go away. I hate telemarketers. We've got a new software on our phones, though, that captures 90% of them before they ever even... Ooh, look at that. That's off my little plate. Before they even ring. And it's called Tell You, maybe? Anybody that's interested can DM me. That's beautiful right there. Red may not have been that bad an idea. Okay. This This is another good one. Micaceous iron oxide. You just buy one of these Goldens a month. You'll soon have a good stock, and they do not go away. Let's see. Let's put some of this green gold. This is some fluid. I think I got some of this golden from a kit that I bought, a sampler. And I'm really pleased I got that. I can put that on top of here. The first pull of the heart. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, but no cigar. That's the watercolor. Let's do terracotta. A little bit of India ink. I'm gonna let that dry for a minute. I'll check in with you guys again. I'm sorry, Gail. I'll try to unroll it away from the microphone again. Hey, Peg. I kept trying to get in your live stream today and realized that it had been earlier. Oh, Vaughn, the baby one is my favorite. I am sorry. Let's quit with the rolls. Go with some of our onion skin. So if y'all see any onion skin reams for a decent price, I'm not going to pay $100 for a ream of onion skin. Let me know. I'll get it and I'll pay you back because it sure is nice. Interesting. This one you can just use like a stamp. Trying to be very, very quiet. I'm teasing. Let's see what else is down here. That turquoise was awfully good. Let's try this darker one. Turquoise. And let's do iridescent bronze again. Too much paint. Got rid of some of it. Okay, now let's do a stencil. This is a stencil girl. I like doing 5 or 6 layers on the plate before you make a pull, but that requires a lot of drying in between. And isn't really a good technique to pretty. That off. Why not? These are the colors I'm really fond of. Got a lot of wet paint right there. Oh, I want to do. Ooh, Celadon. I haven't used that today. Dick Blick matte acrylic. This is like $2.50, I think, a bottle. It is really good matte finish for what we were talking about earlier. Martha Stewart glitter. This is just like acrylic binder with mica in it. I'm gonna try to be quiet, Gail. Yeah, that's better. I got it ready to lay down over behind me. I know these things. So thanks for telling me. Didn't get just a whole lot. Okay, I've got this red polka dot by itself. Yeah, didn't do much. Need my black flash. Well, we've got some papers going on. That is fun. Oh, here. Let's do this one. That might cover up the whole thing. Really, Gail? I didn't know that. Peg, I've got some of that. It's what they use for masking paper for painters. I've got a roll of green and a roll of the light brown. Well, that didn't do diddly squat. I have a bad habit of doing that. Is that what you're talking about? I've got so much gunk on my plate, I'm not sure it would affect it. Nothing new here in my world as far as stencils go. I mean, as far as mark making goes. My creativity does not run to this kind of work. So what kind of marks does it make? Because I've always heard that about photo paper too, but there's a way to use it. Not much bang for the buck on that one. Let's just do straight white. I mean, tight and buff. My lid is a mess. I miss seeing you, Peg. Y'all must, I think you live stream at times when I'm not up, or that could be. got my days and nights mixed up, but that's not unusual for winter. Leave that one on there for a little while. Okay, guys, now that glitter is not really glitter. It's more like mica, which is in all of your color shift paints. I can see where mica would make divots. I mean, glitter. But that's just barely a mica. I don't know. We'll see. I've used it before. I think it's time to throw that one away. Good Lord. I hate it when I do something like that. Which I do all the time, so. Let's see. I could use a piece of photo paper. As long as you have a coat of acrylic between the photo paper and the plate, I haven't had any issues. Yeah. Let's see if my nasty wouldn't pick up any of that. Just do it. Just do it. It's a piece of paper. I'm not getting jack. A little bit right here. I need some white. Let me see. Fudge pig. I don't know. All right. All right. Look at the mess. Good grief. You know better than that. Tighten buff. So I know y'all are getting tired of seeing me waste paper. This is my ugly one again. We've got a little bit. little bit of something going on. Yeah, there's too much clear there. I would not use that for would not use that photo paper on it. My first pulls were the best. The ones that I let dry. It's 6 o'clock, folks. This is the kind of stuff I really like right in here. I hate to waste this paint. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I have some of those Carabella. They're to me, they're just like rubber stamps that are unmounted. But see, the new gimmicks. We got to have some. Okay, where's my ugly one? Right here. Thank you, Vaughn. This is my last one, so I appreciate you guys popping in and staying with me, and I really appreciate the chat. That's my favorite part. That's so weird. Almost nothing. See some faint texture in there. Oh, well, I'm going to quit for today and leave this mess for tomorrow because I can. So, over and out. I will see you guys next Tuesday unless I do something over the weekend. And I'll just pop in